Hi everybody, I hope you're well. More information about createRecords. So these are some concepts and details to pay attention to so you don't get tripped up, so you don't fall victim to any gotchas. We've implemented this pattern where we have the user submitting information about their food, and they fill out these text input boxes and drop downs and text areas, and it's inside an on event, which means that we're waiting for the user to hit the submit button before we actually set the values of these variables. And that's very important because if that's not inside the on event, AppLab will try to set those variables before the user even types in the box, and that won't work. By the same token, it's very important that the create record is inside the on event. Otherwise, AppLab will try to create the record before these variables, before food name and category and description, before these variables are even set, and you will get a bunch of unknown values in your database. So make sure that the create record is inside the on event. Also very important that you get the name right. So there's a little bug right here. Our table is actually called foods, and that's extremely important that the name matches exactly the table name called foods. And you should know that table names have to be one word. So it wouldn't work to have your table name be tasty foods. You could have tasty underscore foods, but it's got to be one word. So if you're determined to have two words, either camel case it or put an underscore between them, but you can't have a word space word. It just won't work in AppLab. You can actually change around the orders of these column and value pairs. So if I were to put food name after category, that actually works. AppLab can figure that out. I don't see any reason why you would want to do that. I think it makes sense to just keep it in the same order that the tables are in the database, but AppLab can handle that if you switch those names around for whatever reason. What you definitely can't do, though, is you can't ignore casing. So if I have this column food name, if I tried to make the column food lowercase n, it just will not work. That'll put an unknown value into the data table. AppLab can't handle that. Other things are to know that after this create record is called, this callback function is executed. So notice that create records actually has three parameters. It's the table name, then this long object of column value pairs, and then this callback function, which is executed when the data table responds that it has created a record. So this callback function is useful because you can use it to print out a message after the record has been created. And you can see that it has this record parameter. So this is actually an object that represents the row of the data table that was the database row that was created. So if we did console.log record .id and we also did a console.log record.foodname, then this is going to helpfully log out the name of the food that we stored in the database. Let's just try it. Let's say we want an orange, and that's a snack, and it's a citrus, and the image, we'll just put some nonsense in there just to make this happen. And we submit, and it worked. We never hit reset before we changed our code. So we changed our code, and we didn't hit reset. So let's run that again. We go to add, and we're going to add an orange, and it's a snack, and it's a citrus, and its URL is 000, and we submit. So see how it logged out down here at console.log the record ID, which is 14, and the food name, which is orange. The food name, obviously, you already know because you're putting that into the data table. But this is the only way that you can know the ID of the record you created. Remember, the ID is a value that AppLab creates automatically. So you have no control over this ID. And the only way you would know that ID is to check when the callback comes back, and then you can know what ID AppLab used. And notice, although this is done automatically, it's not necessarily done in order. That's because I've been playing around with this, and I deleted rows 5 through 13 And AppLab doesn't reuse them. It just goes on to the next one. I also deleted ID number 1. So you will have a database that will not necessarily be in strict sequence. There may be gaps in the sequence. And so that's a handy way to get that ID. There you go. There's just some more things to know about create record. Thanks for watching.